A very good morning, children. How are you? This is Sonia Verma, your SST teacher from Springfields Public School. Children, last time we had started chapter 11 of history, political formations in the 18th century. We had seen how the Mughals they started to decline. The later Mughals had neither territory nor power. Today on page number 115 we are going to start independent kingdoms. Last time, children, you had seen how the governors of the Mughals they became so powerful that they started to rule as independent rulers. So, three of the largest Mughal provinces to become independent were Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad. So, let us see first Awadh. In 1722, Muhammad Shah, who was the Mughal ruler, he appointed Sadat Khan the governor of Awadh. The zamindars of Awadh often refused to pay taxes on time. Sadat Khan suppressed the rebellious zamindars and reformed the revenue system. He held the combined office of the Subadar and the Faujdar and the Dewan. He was succeeded in 1739 by Safdar Jung. So after Sadat Khan, Safdar Jung he became the ruler of Awadh. Sadat Khan and his successors virtually ruled Awadh as independent rulers. They provided good administration to the people. Lucknow, their capital, was a major center of art and culture. So, next kingdom which we are going to study is Bengal. Murshid Quli Khan was the governor of Bengal under the Mughals. Taking advantage of a weak center here means the king he was very weak that the governor he seized power and began to rule independently. He made Murshidabad his capital. In 1727, he was succeeded by Shujauddin, who ruled till 1739. After him, Alivardi Khan and then Sirajuddaulah became rulers. All these rulers of Bengal, they improved the administration and encouraged agriculture, industry and trade. Loans were given to poor peasants. A strict control was maintained over the collection of custom duties. Custom duties is the tax which is collected on import and export of goods. In the 18th century, Bengal became one of the most prosperous regions of India. It was this prosperity that attracted the English to it. The historic Battle of Plassey in 1757 and Battle of Buxar in 1764 firmly established the English power in this region. So the Britishers they started to rule Bengal after both these battles, and eventually, as you know, almost the whole of Indian subcontinent they were able to rule, which you will study in detail in class 8. Now the next kingdom which we are going to study is Hyderabad. Chin Kilich Khan was a powerful noble in the court of Farrukhsiyar and Muhammad Shah. He was awarded the title of Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jah and given the responsibility of governing the Deccan provinces. He carved out the state of Hyderabad, which he ruled as an independent ruler. He appointed Mansabdars and granted them Jagirs without the permission of the Mughal king. So, in a way, he was ruling this whole kingdom himself. Muhammad Shah was powerless to stop him and had to agree to all his decisions. The successors of Nizamul Mulk were known as the Nizams. Now, the next kingdom which became powerful during the Mughal rule we are going to study are the Rajputs who were ruling in the Rajasthan. Most of the Rajput kings since the reign of Akbar, you must be remembering, they used to be the supporters of Mughals. They were allies of the Mughals. But during the reign of Aurangzeb, because of his policies, they started to revolt. By the early 18th century, most of the Rajput states had become independent. The most enlightened Rajput ruler of his period was Savai Raja Jai Singh of Amer. He encouraged the teaching and learning of science. Savai Raja Jai Singh founded the city of Jaipur and made it his capital. He was also interested in astronomy and he built many observatories. In total, five observatories he had built. For example, at Delhi and at Jaipur. Now, the next independent kingdom we are going to study is Punjab under the Sikhs. So, this region we are going to study. The Sikhs became a strong political and military force under Guru Gobind Singh. He organized the Sikhs into a military group called the Khalsa, meaning the pure. He inspired his soldiers to fight the Mughals through the slogan Vahe Guru Ji ka Khalsa, Vahe Guru Ji ki Fateh. It means that the Khalsa belongs to the God and all victories of the Khalsa are victories of God. Guru Gobind Singh asked all Sikh men to wear five sacred symbols. You can read about these five sacred symbols in detail on page number 117. After Guru Gobind Singh, the Sikhs were led by Banda Bahadur. He continued the struggle against the Mughals. In the second half of the 18th century, the Sikhs formed the 12 political groups called missals. Each missile controlled a specific area and had a leader. Towards the end of the 18th century, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the leader of the Sukhar Chakia missile, you can see this missile here, this area here, and this is Maharaja Ranjit Singh. He united all the missiles and he established a powerful kingdom in Punjab. So this is all for today, children. We will continue with the reading of the chapter next time. I am also giving you homework. You will read thoroughly chapter number 2 of civics, that is Pillars of Democracy. Keep doing your work, children, side by side. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.